Welcome back to part 3 of series on MCC, Zeus, Ares, dynamic combat operations for the group Black Widow Company. This is how we approach things, not necessarily how everybody else might. Today we're just going to be going over, in this section we're just going to be going over Ares functions. Specifically, this is just a small little add-on to Zeus. It's actually just player side. It is not required It's not required to be on the server, however it can help on the server. It's the full Ares tab here of everything. The Ares ones are all the stuff with the little Spartan helmet here. So we're going to go over these in a bunch of different ways. So first one we're going to do is the AI behaviors one. So we're going to have to drop artillery down for this one to make sense, at least right now. So we're going to put a mortar down. And we're going to create a couple artillery targets in the water. Alright, so we see we've created our artillery target Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. So if we click our fire artillery now, we see dropping an error module needs to be placed on a unit. So we need to actually drop this on top of a piece of artillery. Unfortunately, it only works with a single piece of artillery. It doesn't actually work with groups of artillery. Not yet, anyways. So, we can see we can pick what type of shell based on what artillery is down on the ground. How many? It's up to 5 rounds anyways. And we can pick individual targets. We can pick random, nearest, farthest. So we're just going to go ahead and say random, and we're going to tell them to fire 1 round. Alright, up there it did say the ETA. Sometimes it's hard to catch. It goes away very, very, very fast. But we're going to see which one he randomly decided to shoot at. And as I can hear when it comes down. And he hit Alpha. Awesome! Cool. The important thing to note, I like using this because you can create massive random artillery around a certain area, but make sure it's not hitting players exactly, or hitting very close to players if they decide to move. But it takes the actual travel time of the artillery, whereas the fire support menu is instantaneous, as is the MCC. This takes actually how long it'll travel from that artillery piece to that target, and it'll also take into effect if the artillery computer cannot compute, so if the mortar's too far away, if it's too close, all that stuff. Alright, next up we have Garrison Building Instant. We're going to drop some AI down for this. We're going to drop a squad down. So we're going to go ahead and do Garrison Building Instant. Alright, cool. It's instant garrisoning this building and this tower. Unfortunately, this thing's very random. It's what building it picks. Generally picks the closest to whatever unit you just dropped it on. However, it will occasionally split the unit up between 3, 4, 5 buildings. Sometimes it'll throw them all into one, even if it's like 20 or 30 units. Once they are garrisoned, they are stuck in those positions. They will not leave them unless you ungarrison them. By ungarrisoning them, see the unit's going to start moving around. We can tell them to move down, and we can see the AI are idiots and fall straight off. Occasionally, the Garrison Building Instant does screw up, and you do have to manually go through and, I don't understand how to get out of towers. Wonderful. You'll have to occasionally, go through and fix units manually. They might be. It doesn't happen that often. I'd probably say once out of every 20 or 30 units. One of them might be a little screwed up. You just have to manually move them. So that's that. Ungarrison literally does that. Search and garrison, rather than instantly garrisoning them, we'll simply have them just search and garrison. I don't like where you're going. I'm going to leave you. Alright. Search and garrison building. This will literally try and locate a nearby building for them to search and garrison. They'll determine how many troops they need to send. And I think they're going to have them search this hut. So he's just going to send one guy. Search building. Literally, it's just going to send a couple guys to search buildings. Probably just it's going to send that one guy again. I don't know where he's going, but they think they need to send over there. Patrol. It's pretty cool. We have a bunch of different stuff we can do. The size of the patrol grid, how we want it to, the behavior during the patrol, what direction we want to patrol, and how long we want to delay, which we can do in standard setting here. And we can see it creates waypoints in a circle. We can manipulate these waypoints if we wanted to, but it's if you want to do a perfect circle patrol. I don't use it that often, but it can be useful, I guess. And then we have surrender unit, which if you wanted this entire people to surrender, you can't surrender the entire unit at once. So quick ways to do this is by holding down your control key, so the module doesn't go away, and we can see we can surrender all of them very, very quickly. By being surrendered, we can see they convert into civilian, and they are in fact untargetable. It's a nice feature if you want to surrender units on the field of battle. Or if you wanted to create a quick hostage situation as well, you can do that too. So let's go ahead and get rid of these guys. Alright, next up we have Arsenal. Best way to put this is we can just add an arsenal to something if you don't have access to MCC to drop it. So we're going to go ahead and drop everything in there. It's just a menu. It takes a bit to get to go, so we'll wait for that to go. Copy to clipboard, paste, combine, paste, and replaces. If you know how to do arsenal coding, you can code outside a game and paste it in. Can be useful, but you don't know how to do a lot. Add and remove NVGs, add and remove thermals, and flashlights on off. Really cool feature. I love this one a lot because, as we can see, none of these units have night vision goggles. If we go into night, they are all going to be screwed. They have no way of doing it, so we're going to go ahead and enable NVGs to all NATO units. And we can see that I'll have all NVGs on them, which is really cool. And we can go just straight up remove them too as well. So, 152 objects because there's the water. Comes in arsenal, it takes a really long time. So it's gotta be on the ammo box. Ammo box. Usually it's gotta be on an ammo box for this to work. Let's go and drop a cargo net. Our arsenal at all. And there we go. So come to set it. I'll probably add it to the mortar finally. Yep, added it to the mortar. So it just took a little bit of time. We'll move the mortar over here, and yeah, we can see we have an arsenal on the mortar now. Which completely bugged out. Alright. This one did as well. I don't like using the Ares arsenal. It has the tendency to do that. But it is something you can do if you need to. Add and remove thermals. Pretty obvious. It's supposed to add thermal sights on things that can have thermal sights. I don't ever see the reason for that. And then lights on off unless you want to disable it. It's not supposed to add flashlights. Occasionally it does. Yeah, there we go. See it for these rifles. Which is cool. And we forced them on, so let's go ahead and go at night here. Skip time. Alright, yeah, these guys all got flashlights on, which is really cool. So, but we can see some of them don't have flashlights on because dynamic lighting settings. It can bug out really quickly, so I'd recommend not doing that often. But you know, it's up to you if you want to have units with flashlights or not. It can be cool. Most times, though, flashlights just give away your position. All right, let's go ahead and go back to daytime here. Reinforcements right now isn't the greatest. We're going to create a new LZ, and we're going to create a rally point, and we're going to say we're going to spawn units over here. Spawn NATO. Aircraft, I think. Stay at LZ, and we'll say we can pick which. We're going to say LZ Alpha. We're going to tell them to go to rally point Alpha, and we're just going to do default. And this is why I don't use this, because to you decide if you want to use that or not. Currently, that's if you're just using default Arma. This copies a location to your clipboard. That's all it does. And then we can, yeah. That is literally this entire 5-kilometer base around here, and we could paste it at a new position, at the original position. I find MCC does this a lot better, and if you're going to do it, you're better off setting up the mission SQM. But it is a feature with Ares. It's kind of designed for people who don't have access to MCC for some of the functions, but that function is definitely handled better by MCC. Spawn. Currently there are no custom mission objects on our file, so we can't spawn them. This allows you to create custom, like ammo box, custom, whatever you want to throw custom in to your mission, so you can have a custom mission object. And then this just creates smoke pillars, which are really cool, I think, anyways, because smoke doesn't last forever in the game. If you want to like have a vehicle fire go for a lot longer, you can through that. These things are also spawnable, because they're not spawnable by default. It's just a submarine and a trawler. So, cool one, teleporters. So, cool thing we can do with teleporters, we can attach them to objects. So we're going to put a teleporter over here, and we're going to turn this guy into a teleporter. So when we walk up to him, we can go, oh, teleport to Alpha, and it'll teleport us over to this flagpole. And we're going to teleport to Bravo, and it'll teleport us back next to him. It's really cool. We can also do a bunch of other things with teleport. So we can teleport group. You think there's only one group in here, even though we have like a Charlie 1-1 down. This only teleports players, and then that needs to be understood. So teleport all. It's only going to teleport me around. Same thing with all of this stuff. It will only teleport players. So you can just teleport yourself very quickly, or you can select a single unit, which currently is just me in the game, so it's that whole field is null. So there's something really cool we can do with this that I found out really awesomely recently. Doesn't always work the best, but it works. Let's say you want to spawn on something like a ship. If I create a teleport on this, it would literally spawn me underneath it, so we're going to create an object and throw it on there, and turn the teleporter onto that. So we're going to grab a small object. Now, there's a couple ways of doing this. We can grab a physics object, which is going to stay with it, however, it's going to cause some slight issues with that can of baked beans. Can of baked beans down there. So, awesome physics object. It's a can right there. Really cool. We're going to create a teleporter right on it. We're just going to create teleporter Charlie. Walk up to this guy. If this one works, first turn around. Teleported right onto the can of baked beans, right onto the naval vessel. Really, really cool. I'll test it out. You can also create like a platform in the air if you wanted to do aerial insertions. And have people pick up their own backpacks and whatnot. You can do that as well. So we're going to teleport us back. So, probably the biggest reason I have Ares is because of this menu right here, which is util. This makes having multiple Zeuses awesome. As you can see, there's a bunch of stuff on this map that I cannot currently edit. For example, these docks are really screwed up from when I placed them into the mission editor, and I haven't got around to fixing them yet. So, I want to get rid of them or fix them, just do something with them. We're going to add objects to Zeus. You can see all units in mission, all units within 5 kilometers. We're going to go all units in mission. And wow, all this stuff is now editable. If we open our map, we also see all these guys that are our players out in the ocean. And we also see all these modules. Now, we need to make sure that when you add units to mission, or add all your units in mission, you don't delete any of these modules, as it can cause some issues. You don't want to delete anything basically under game logic, is a great way to go with it. But we can see all of our objects in here now, which is really cool, and we want to get rid of these docks because they got screwed up, and this guy because I don't like him. But we can see all these people are playable characters. That's why they have that red thing around them. But we can drag them because they're not currently players. If this was a player, we couldn't drag them, so that's fine with me. Player cannot be edited. Player cannot be edited. It's going to constantly keep saying that. It's just the way players work in the game. Can't edit them with Zeus, at least not yet. Not directly, anyways. This one has a little bit better of a weather system. However, because you can control the fog, which is really cool. Turn the fog up really high. We'll say it's 50% fog with 7% overcast. That's rain. 7% overcast. And you can see this gives us a really, really, really high fog, which is really cool, because most of the time fog is really low on the ground. If you wanted fog for your pilots and whatnot. It's up to you. Again, fog, it's at the transition level. It's going to go away eventually. Sometimes it goes away quickly. Sometimes it doesn't. Create composition. Just basically creates composition from files around, or units around you. And then you can remove objects from Zeus if you wanted to for whatever reason. Very last thing with Zeus, or with Ares, that I enjoy, is the ability to do this. Now, for those of you that don't know what I just did, I double controlled held down control and double clicked. What this normally does is absolutely nothing. However, thanks to Ares, what this now does is allows you to remote control a unit. Which you think, oh, well, I can just do this. Unfortunately, and I will say I've done it multiple times, your finger slips for half a second and you're just moving fast because you're trying to get control of a unit very, very quickly for whatever reason, and you grab the lighting. Oh crap, I just killed the player that I was trying to direct control. It happens. You just kind of have to deal with it. Now there is a problem with this, with adding objects to Zeus, which I'm going to show with these trucks right here. These trucks are not placeable with Zeus because they are not Zeus-compatible vehicles. Insufficient resources. If you ever get that, it means that your vehicle is not editable, or your object, whatever you have, is not editable. You can't delete it, you can't end it, you can't do anything with it. Even if we put a player in it, or an AI in it, we still can't do it, but we can tell them to move around, we can give them instructions, we can direct control them, which is cool. But we still can't manually. In part 2, I talked about how to set up some predefined bases, or just showing them off. I'm going to go over and show some of the Ares ones, which I prefer to use over the default biz ones. Whereas these ones are, the camps are nice, and they can be good to look at. Overall, I find them a bit lacking, and a bit not what I need to do, and they require a lot of manipulation in order to work nicely. Thankfully, Ares has built some new ones in for us, and they've also allowed for community imports as well. Later down the line I might do a tutorial on how to import your own Ares structures, but in here this is just going to go over what currently is here for this one. So there's two sections, there's Ares and there's Ares Community. The ones in the Ares Community are ones provided by community authors who want to build their own bases, and the ones up here are provided default with Ares. So we can see the bases. They're kind of small. His default ones they're nice for little kind of small outposts. Nothing really major. His bunkers are probably one of the two big things that I use a lot. I manipulate them a lot, so you kind of do a couple things with them. So getting rid of camo netting and whatnot. I can take this and move this stuff around and expand the space out into more of what I want and what I'm looking at for the area. rather than what's currently given. So it gives a very nice base to go off of. His bunker one as well, it's very nice. I don't like the razor wire personally, but again, it's all it's personal decision on what you want to do with your bases. Yeah, you can rotate and move these around very easily, very nicely, obviously. He has a lot of things in here that are just really awesome for kind of just building customized bases up. With his default structures, it's kind of combining a bunch of stuff into one thing almost, rather than having one big thing ready to go. He's got minefields ready to go for you, and just some smaller stuff. The road checkpoint ones are really cool, I find anyways, because checkpoints are kind of a big pain to do on the fly. And as you can see, some of them are pretty detailed in what they have in them. So we're going to go ahead and clean this up really quickly. So that's his military structures. The other thing I like about it is he has these wall sections pre-built, which anybody who's built a wall in Zeus or MCC can tell you. Building these right off the bat is building long wall sections anyways, is just a pain. And he's got some nice pre-built ones that are really cool to go with, and we have some nice kind of improvised barriers, which are, again, pretty cool to do. Again, these things are really awesome because they're extremely manipulatable. And we can see sometimes they have their issues, just everything is placed as easy. You have to manually go in and fix some stuff when you place groups of things down based on the terrain. But, you know, we can see everything in this is editable, everything is movable, so we can take pieces of this and take it out. You know, if you don't like the razor wire there or whatnot, and you can mess around with this, which is the really cool part of with doing stuff like this. And, you know, he's just got some basic wall stuff, which is just nice, because again, placing all these things down individually and getting them nice lined up is just a pain, and that's already all done for you. It's really cool. His community ones, they're Vernai communities. I hope I pronounced that right. I apologize if I didn't. He has some really awesome ones. I'm not a huge fan of the bunkers and fighting positions, mainly because I don't use the H barriers that often, but anyway, in combat anyways. But what I really love about him is all of these ones down here. He has some awesome fobs and bases, and the best part about it is he did detailed and light versions. So we'll go to one of the smaller ones, which is Retribution, and we can see that's the light version, and this is the detailed version. You can see the detailed version is a little bit bigger. It's got just a lot more stuff to it. It also has, you know, he's got like things scattered around and just stuff going on rather than just a kind of blank box. So, and some of these are really, really big. I think this one is the biggest, kind of. The only problem with placing these down is you kind of need a large flat area to do so. However, they are extremely awesome. So he's got pre-built mortar positions and AA positions for you, which are really cool. And again, it's got these radar comms and support, which I'm a huge fan of. I'm a huge fan of having, like, just getting this stuff set up. Mainly because grabbing all this stuff, all these things are in different areas in the empty column, and they're mixed between objects and structures and whatnot. Placing them down like this allows you to manipulate very quickly into doing something, which I'll show a quick manipulation here in just a minute. So, let's say we want to set up a small little custom fob in the mountain over here. Pick an area that's kind of a pain to build in. Okay, so we want to build ourselves a little base right here. You know, we can start up by setting up the compost, and again, I'm going to get rid of the razor wire, and I'm going to move these sandbags out to a different location because I don't want them right next to the comm tower. So I'm going to set up a little fighting position over here, and we're going to go up and grab, let's see, bunkers, observation bunker. So, as we can see very quickly, I'm starting to kind of, using these pre-built sections, start to mold out a base here. I'm not going to go too much farther into this, I'm just going to do a little bit more. But as you can see, it gets a little helipad up here for our guys coming on. We're going to try and find a flat-ish area for that. It all depends on what you want and what you want to see at your individual base, your individual area, and whatnot. Like I said, I really enjoy using these observation bunkers because I like having a bunker with a little bit of sandbags on it, covering areas. I don't like the big bunkers that are provided by Biz. I like these kind of like pre-built ones like this. Yeah, my guys, I use them a lot. So you can see I'm kind of just quick manipulating the base here into what I want to see again. So it's all about quick manipulation. We can copy and paste entire sections that we like. So again, if we like kind of what I did here. So if I like what I did there, I can paste it, just Control-C, Control-V, standard stuff, and do another line of it, right next to it. Again, this requires you to go in and manually fix a bunch of stuff. Otherwise, you end up with things like this. And obviously, that bunk's in a really bad spot. I would fix it. But it allows you to kind of quickly build a little fob. And as you can see, this only took me a couple minutes to do here, even though it kind of looks bad. I'm not gonna lie. But you can see your imagination is kind of the stretch here in what you want to do as far as manipulation. And just having these pre-built bases is really nice because it can drop down those things that you're looking for, those objects that you're looking for very quickly with building mainly fighting positions, which is how I mainly use them. Rather than using how they are actually currently built, I turn them into what I want.